Yo, what's up? What's up? What's up? How's it going? Welcome back to Babylon Talmud. Today we're learning the 13th page of Masechta Shabbis. That's Daf Yud Gimel. Going weiter in exploring our Mishnah, and let's say, some interesting stuff today. Let's just kind of jump into this thing. Okay. Daf Yud Beis, Amud Beis, 3 lines from the bottom of the page, at the 2 dots. Be'emes amu chazan chulei. So the Mishnah said that the chazan is allowed to look at where the little kids are reading in the Chumash in order to figure out what he needs to read tomorrow in shul, but he shouldn't actually read with them. So the Gemara asks, V'amar Reisha ro'eh, my love, the crows. 1 second. We said that the chazan is allowed to look what the children are up to. Mistama, if he's looking, he's also reading. So lo, l'sad Rosh Parshi Yosef. So they say, no, he's not exactly reading with them. He's just looking at the very beginning to get like the first part. And once he gets the first part, then, the rest of it will come to him. But he's not actually going to sit there and study with him, with the kids. And similarly, Rabbi Bar Shmuel says that he's just doing like sort of the beginning of the parsha with these little kids, just so that he could remember, what exactly he's got to prepare for tomorrow. And that's it. But he wouldn't be allowed to study the entire parsha, the entire weekly portion with these kids. Meisve, we have a kasha. That the little kids are allowed to, study the Chumash and read to the light of the candle. And if they can do it, so can he. So Ibai Sema Rashi Parshi Yosef. So either I'll answer that as saying that the kids also were only, studying sort of the beginning of the parshas. They weren't studying the entire parshas. Or you could answer that it's different when it comes to the kids versus the adult, because the kids, as Rashi says, in poshtin yad l'shum davar vafilu b'chol ela al piraban. That's the first Rashi on the page. That they don't extend their hand to do anything, even during the week, without the permission of their teacher. Wow, tight ship. So therefore, because they won't do anything without the express permission of their teacher, we're not concerned that they will tilt the candle. However, we are concerned that the chazan might tilt the candle. Okay. So we say that similarly, a zav should not eat with his wife who is a zava, because we're concerned about hergel avera, that if they eat together, then they might come to sleep together, and if they sleep together, so then that will be an iser kares. Okay, just thinking for a second. Okay, bit seder. Okay, fine. Says the Gemara, Tanya, we learn in a brayso from Shimon ben Elazar, says of Shimon ben Elazar, Bo urei ad heichan parsa Tyra b'Yisrael. So it says of Shimon ben Elazar, come and see how broadly there is sort of a culture of purity among Israel. What does that mean? Shalosha ninu lo yochal atar imatmeya. The Mishnah didn't need to teach us that somebody who's tahor shouldn't eat with his wife who is Tameya, who's Anida. It doesn't say that. It doesn't say that a husband shouldn't eat with his wife who's Anida, because then maybe they will come to sleep with each other and it's an Isser Kares. It says that a Zav shouldn't eat with his wife who's a Zava. You know why they didn't have to say that a husband who's Tahor shouldn't eat with his wife who's Anida? Because they're not doing it anyways. Because people are so, in Israel, they're so makpid to eat chulin b'tara, that anything that they eat should be tahor, that of course a husband wouldn't eat with his wife who is a nida, because he would be makpid, of course, obviously, to only eat chulin b'tara. And that's why the Mishnah specifically had to say that a zav shouldn't eat with his wife who's a zava. Just a person, a tahor, the Mishnah didn't have to say anything because it's not happening anyways. That's how broadly accepted there is a culture of purity among Israel. Kayotzebo, and similarly, lo yochal zav parush im zav ha'ma'aretz. A zav who is a parush, who's like a shomer halacha, right, should not eat with a zav. Well, I don't know if shomer halacha is the right way to say it, but somebody who's makpid on halacha, let's say, who happens to be a zav, he should not eat with another person who happens to be a zav, and that other person happens to also be in Amaretz. Shemiyagilo etzlo, lest the zav who is a parush comes to have this zav who is an Amaretz be a regular by him. Now v'chimagilo etzlo mayhave. The Gemara says, what's the problem? Why can't the zav who's a parush hang out with the zav who's an Amaretz? So what if they end up hanging out more? What's the problem there? So the Gemara says, no, we're concerned that maybe the zav Amaretz will feed the zav parush things that are tamei. The Gemara says, huh? Atu zav parush lav dvarim tmein achil? Isn't the zav parush already eating tamei things? He's a zav, for crying out loud. A zav is an avatuma. Any food that he touches is going to be tamei. So Abaye says, yes, but we're concerned, actually, the concern is actually that the Zav Amaretz might feed the Zav Parush fruits and vegetables that Truma and Meiser wasn't taken from it. Rava argues on Abaye, and he says, Rov Amei Aretz Ma'asunhen. That the fact of the matter is that most Amei Haaretz actually do take Meiser from their stuff. And therefore, it's not really a concern that this Zav Amei Haaretz is going to feed this Zav Parush food that Meiser hasn't been taken from. Ella, Shamiyei Rogel Etzlo V'Yachilenu Dvarim Tmein B'mei Taharaso. No, the concern is that if the Zav Parush hangs out with the Zav Amei Haaretz too much, the Zav Amaretz may feed the Zav Parush, when they're not Zavim anymore, things that are Tameh, even when they're not Zavim. And the point being that in general, right, we don't want, in general, people were makbid not to eat chulin betar, not to eat chulin betuma, i.e. they were makbid to eat chulin betahara when they're holy, and not to eat Tameh things. And therefore, that is why a Zav Parush shouldn't hang out with the Zav Amaretz, because we're concerned that after they're no longer Zavin, then this Amaretz is going to feed this Parush foods that are Tameh, which Meikar Adin is okay, you can eat Tameh food, but there was a general culture in Israel not to eat things that were Tameh. Ibayalu, they asked the Kasha, Nida Mahu Shatishan Imbaila Hi Bevigda Ru Bevigdo. Oh, so they asked the Kasha, can a Nida sleep in the same bed as her husband if they're both wearing clothing? Amr of Yosef. So if Yosef is going to come out more machmir over here and say that it's not allowed. And the way I understand it, for the next bit in the Gemara, there's going to be a few different, brisas that Rav Yosef brings to try to say that it is not allowed. So Tashma, come in here. Ha'of ola imagvina ala shulchan ve'eno nechol divrei Beis Shammai. So according to Beis Shammai, you can put chicken and cheese on the same table, but just don't eat them together. Okay, you can have chicken and cheese on the same table, just don't eat the chicken if you're eating the cheese. And that is because Beis Shammai holds that chicken and milk is only in Isser D'Rabbanan. And therefore, we don't, therefore we're not going to say, don't put the chicken on the table lest you come to eat, the cheese and the chicken, which in and of itself is only D'Rabbanan anyways. So therefore they say you could put it on the table, just don't eat it. And Basil says you don't put the chicken and the cheese on the same table, and of course you don't eat it, because they hold, if I understand correctly, they hold that, I think the point is that they hold that chicken and milk is asur midoraisa, or in any event, whatever it is, they say don't put the chicken and the cheese on the same table. The point being, here also, don't have a husband and a wife sleeping on the same bed. If she's a nida, i.e. there's an asa relationship between them. So shiny Hassan, but the Gemara says, come on, but that's not a good proof. That's not a good proof. It's different in the case of the cheese and the chicken. They're like a deos, because there's no deos. There's only one person there. We're advising a person, don't put on your table cheese and chicken, lest you come to eat them together. But over here there's two people, and surely they will remind each other, and therefore, between the two of them, they will make sure that they won't have sex with each other because she is a nida. Hachinami mistavra. And this taka makes sense. De'echadika deos shiny. That where there are two people, it's different because they'll remind each other. The Katani Seifa, as the Seifa says, Reb Shimon Gamliel Omer, says Reb Shimon Gamliel, Shnei achsanyim ochlin al shulchan echad ze ochel basar v'ze ochel gvina. Two guests can eat at the same table. This guy can eat his meat. This guy eating his cheese. And it's no problem. Vein choshishin. And there's no problem. Why? Mistama, because there's deos, right? There's two people there. If one of them wanted to chop around from the other guy's plate, they'll say, hey, wait, chicken and meat, or whatever, meat and cheese. That's not allowed. They'll remind each other. So you're also by the husband and the wife, they'll remind each other. But the Gemara says, right? So I kind of read this as like Rav Yosef then responding to this and saying, yeah, but V'lav itmar Allah, don't we say about that Amr of Chanan bar Ami, Amr Shmuel, Lo Shanu Ella, Shein Makirin Zeh Zeh, Ava Makirin Zeh Zeh Asurim, V'hani Nami Makirin Zeh Zeh Ninu. And then Rav Yosef responds, but yeah, I thought isn't the only reason why when you have these two people eating at the same table, this guy eating meat and this guy eating cheese, the only reason why that's allowed is because they don't recognize, they're not friends with each other. But if they were friends with each other, and they would feel comfortable, let's say, taking a bite from each other's plate, so then it wouldn't be allowed. So then it would not be allowed. Because they're comfortable with each other, even though there's deos, and even though theoretically they could remind each other not to eat meat and cheese. And still we say that it wouldn't be allowed. So here also, even though there's deos, and they could remind each other, still, it wouldn't be allowed, because they recognize each other. So deus ika shinui leka, hacha ika deus vika shinui. To which the Gemara says, but yeah, but still, it's the other case with the two guests eating meat and cheese is different because, yeah, sure, while there's deos, while there's two of them, there's no shinui. They're both just eating regularly. This guy's eating his cheese, this guy's eating his meat. So even though there's two of them, there isn't necessarily a reminder there that like, hey, we shouldn't do this. But when it comes to the husband and the wife in the same bed, not only are there two of them, but they're both sleeping with their clothes on as a specific, change from the norm. Normally they would sleep without their clothes on, but now they're sleeping with their clothes on in order to serve as a shinoi, as something different than the norm. And therefore there would be both deos and a shinoi, so theoretically it could be okay. Ikadamri, there are those who say, Tashma, that Rav Yosef said, listen to this brisa. Rav Shimon Gamliel Omer, Shnei achsanim ochlin al shulchan echad, zeh basar v'zeh gvina, right, that these two guests can eat at the same table. This guy eats meat, this guy eats cheese. Vitmar Alam, we said about it. Amr of Chanan bar Ami, Amr Shmuel, Lo Shanu Ela shein makirin zeh zeh, ava makirin zeh zeh asur. Right, that they can only eat at the same table if they don't recognize each other, but if they know each other, then it wouldn't be allowed. Vani nami makirin zeh zeh ninu, and these two, they recognize each other. Again, I'm sorry, I didn't read that nicely. I'm going to read that again. Right, Ikeda Amri, about 5 lines before it goes wide. Ikeda Amri, there are those who say that what Rav Yosef said, that the answer that Rav Yosef gave was the following. Tashma, come in here. Reb Shimon Gamliel Omer. Says Reb Shimon Gamliel. Shnei achsanim ochel al shulchan echad. Right, you can have these two guests eating at the same table. Ze basar v'ze gvina. This guy's eating meat and this guy's eating cheese. Ve'ed marla. And we davka said over there that Amar of Chanan bar Ami, Amar Shmuel, lo shanu ela she'en makirin zeze. Hava makirin zeze asar, v'aninam makirin zeze ninu. Right? And then Rav Yosef brings us his proof that we said on there, that Rav Chanan bar Ami said in the name of Shmuel, that the only reason why that's allowed, why this guy can eat his meat and that guy can eat his cheese, is because they don't recognize each other. But if they did recognize each other, then it wouldn't be allowed. And here also, the husband and the wife recognize each other. So therefore, they should not be allowed to sleep in the same bed. To which the Gemara responds to Rav Yosef, yeah, but hasam deos ika shinoi leka, acha ika deos vika shinoi. To which the Gemara says, yeah, but in that case, by the meat and the cheese, there might be two people, but there's no shinoi. Over here with the husband and the wife, there's two of them, and there's also the shinoi in that they're both wearing clothing. So it's just essentially two different ways of presenting the dialogue, the flow of that brisa. With the first one started out with the machlokas Beis Hillel and Beis Shammai about chicken and cheese, going into the brisa about the two guests eating meat and cheese. The other way is basically just focusing on the brisa with the two guests. Tashma. So they understand this is that Rav Yosef then brings another brisa. Lo yochal azav mazav mishum hergel avera. That azav shouldn't eat with his wife who's a zava because we're concerned that they might end up having sex with each other. And so therefore, if we're concerned with the zav and the zava, so we should be concerned here with the husband and the wife sleeping in the same bed. Hachinami, deos ika shiner leka. Yeah, but you can give the same answer, that over there, by the eating of the zav and the zava, there might be deos, but there's no shinoi, there's nothing different. That's why it's not allowed. Here, in addition to the deos, there's also a shinoi in that they're both wearing clothes. Tashma. So then Rav Yosef brings another brisa. Elaharim lo achal. I believe it's describing Yechezkel, but it's definitely a pasuk in Yechezkel. And it says, to the mountains he did not eat, right? He didn't eat from the offerings of Avodah Zarah that was going on in the mountains. Ve'enav lo nasa gilulei beis Yisrael. And he didn't look at the Avodah Zarah that the Yidden were doing. Ve'es eishes re'eu lo timei. And he didn't sleep with his friend's wife. Ve'el isha nida lo yikrav. And he doesn't come close to a woman who is a nida. To his wife who is a nida. So makash isha nida leishes re'eu. So the pasuk is comparing his wife who's a nida to his friend's wife. Kilu, his relationship with his wife who's a nida to his relationship or non-existent relationship with his friend's wife. Meishes re'eu hu bevigdo v'hi bevigda aser. Just like when it comes to his friend's wife, it would be forbidden for him to sleep in the same bed as her, even if they're both wearing clothing. Well then guess what? Haf ishto nida hu bevigdo v'hi bevigda aser. Even if his wife, even with his own wife who is a nida, it would not be allowed, even if they're both wearing clothing. Shma mina. Ufliga de Rabbi Pedas. Now, what we just said, right, which is that a husband and wife would not be allowed to sleep in the same bed, even if they're both wearing clothing, argues on what Rabbi Pedas says. The Rabbi Pedas, lo asr Torah ela kurva shel gilu arayos bilvad. That as far as Rabbi Pedas is concerned, the only thing that is asr is sex itself. Everything else, is not asur. Shneimar, as the pasuk says, ish akol sher b'sar lo sikavu legalos erva. Right? That every person to their relatives, they should not come close to be legalos erva. And the galos erva is only actually having sex, but it would be permitted even just to sleep next to each other naked. Certainly it would be okay to sleep next to each other wearing your clothing. Ula, kave asi Rav. Ula, when he would come back from the Beis HaMedrash, or maybe it was from like when he went away to study. Hav menashek lehu la'achvase abe chadayu va'amila abe yadayu. He would kiss his sister on her breasts, and some say it was taka on her arms. Okay? Ufliga didei adidei. Now he, wherever he's kissing his sister, just the fact that he's even kissing his sister, argues on something else that he said. The Amar Ula, afilu shum kurva asur, that any coming close would be asur to arayos. Mishum lech or lach amri nazira schor l'chaim l'sikrav. Right? We say to a nazir like, hey, go around, don't even come close to the vineyard because we don't want you to, even come close to eating grape products. So here also, we don't want you to even come close to any arayos, so you shouldn't be kissing his sister at all. So we say that, Ula's actions seem to be contradictory. On the one hand, he's kissing his sister. On the other hand, he says that, you shouldn't even come close to any arayos. Okay. Tani of Eliyahu, who's taught in the base measures of Eliyahu. Ma'aseh b'talmid echad, there was a story about a certain student, Shoshana harbe v'kara harbe v'shimish tamid chacham harbe. There was a story with a certain student that he learned a lot of Mishnayos, he learned a lot of Tanakh, and he even was Mishamish Tamid Chacham, he even learned a lot of Gemara. And Rashi gives a cool explanation of Shimish Tamid Chacham because, I never really understood so much. I always had a hard time with drawing the connection between what does it mean Shimush Tamid Chacham and Gemara. What is, the Shamesh Tamid Chacham sounds like, I don't know, you're helping them out, you're, aiding them if they need help, like an aid, right? You're serving a Talmud Chacham. What does that have to do with Gemara? I never understood why that was Gemara, but Rashi says something cool over here. He says, the first Rashi in Yud Gimel Mud Beis, Lasbiro stumos amishna v'taime v'hu anikra Talmud, right? So, yeah, sure, just to explain the Mishnayos and stuff, and that's what's called Talmud, but the first word there, Lasbiro, to explain to his teacher, and maybe that's what it means to be serving his teacher. What do you mean the Shamesh Tamid Chacham? That he would spend time with Tamid Chacham and not just serving them, but also offering answers to Brisas and asking questions and participating in the sort of goal or whatever, participating in trying to sort of understand all of these Mishnayos and Brisas, and that's why it's called the Shamesh Tamid Chacham. But anyways, Umeis Bechatzi Yamav, and somehow this student died young, even though he seems to have been doing all the right things. He was, learning whatever. He was learning Gemara, learning Tanakh, everything. And his wife would take his tefillin and she would schlep around his tefillin to different bate knesos and different bate midrashos. And she would go inside the base medrash with his tefillin and she would say, Ksiv b'Torah, it says in your Torah, Kihu chayecha v'orech yamecha, right, that it is your life and the lengtheners of your days. Baili Shoshana harbe v'kara harbe v'shimish tamid chachamim harbe. My husband, who learned a lot of Mishnayos and Tanakh and Gemara, can anybody explain to me why he died so young? And nobody would answer. Nobody would give her an answer. Then Eliyahu, so apparently this is Eliyahu speaking. I assume it's not Eliyahu Hanavi, but who knows? But in any event, he says, Pam achas nisarachti etzlo. One time I was a guest at her house. And of course she was telling me this whole thing about her husband, how he died young and he was a Talmid Chacham. And I said to her, Biti, my daughter, Bimei nidosecha, when you were a nida, Ma'u etzlech, what was his sort of relationship with you? How close or not close did you get? Amrli, and she said to me, Chaz v'shalom, afilu be'etzba ketana lo nagabi. He didn't even touch me in my small. He didn't even touch my small finger. Kilu, no, there's no question that there was about any violation of Hilchos Taharas HaMishpacha. And what about when you were a Zava? Right? And what about when you were a Zava? Meaning, so we talked about a Zav yesterday. We mentioned a Zava earlier today, but what exactly is a Zava? A Zava is basically if so the way that Nida works is that when a woman sees Dam, or at least Midoraisa, that if a woman sees period blood, so then she becomes a Nida for 7 days, Midoraisa, right? And even if she sees Dam every single day throughout those entire 7 days, it makes no difference, meaning it doesn't affect the count of 7 days. She's a Nida for 7 days. That's that. Now, if after these 7 days, there's another 11-day period, right? And during these 11-day periods, if she sees Dam 3 consecutive days in a row, okay, unlike the Zav that we said that he could see 3 times in one day. No, a Zav Adavka needs to see Dam each day for 3 days, then she becomes a zava, and she has to count, just like the zava has to count 7 clean days, so then also a zava needs to count 7 clean days. And that's what he's asking. B'nei bunech, that if you were a zava and you had to count 7 clean days and you were wearing white clothing in order to be able to tell if there was blood, so ma'u etzlech, what was, what was his relationship with you during the days that you were counting 7 clean days? So she said, Achol imi, he would eat with me, v'shasa imi, he would drink with me, v'yashen imi, b'keir basar, and we would even sleep in the same bed without any clothes on. V'lo also daitu adav racher, but it didn't even enter his mind to have sex. V'amarti la, and I said to her, Baruch hamakom shehargo, thank God he killed your husband. Shelo nasa panim la Torah, because he didn't pay any attention to the Torah. Sharei amar Torah, because the Torah says, Vel isha benidas tumasa lo sikrab, that a woman, when she's a nida, you should not even come close. Okay? Kiasa Rav Dimi Amar, when Rav Dimi came, he said, Mita chada havai. When Rav Dimi said, yeah, it was one bed, but it was a big bed. I mean, he was trying to be the melamed schus and try to understand what this young Talmid Chacham was thinking when he would sleep in the same bed as his wife when she was a zava. So he said, look, it was a big bed, and that's why he figured that, right, that it was okay. But Marava Amr, they say in Eretz Yisrael, Amr B'Yitzchak Bar Yosef, Sinar Mafsik Beino Levena. That Rabbi Yitzchak, in Eretz Yisrael, they said that Rabbi Yitzchak Bar Yosef said that she was wearing like a long apron, i.e. to cover herself up, so that to prevent them from having sex. And therefore, they thought that should be okay also. But apparently Eliyahu didn't think that was sufficient. Okay. New Mishnah. Ve'elu min ha'alachis she'amu ba'aliyas Chananya ben Chizkiah ben Garon. And these are from the halachis that they said in the loft of Chananya ben Chizkiah ben Garon, she'alu levakro, that they went up to visit him, to visit Chananya ben Chizkiah ben Garon. Nimnu v'rabu be'shamai al Beis, and at that time they counted, and there were taka more Beis Shammai nicks than Beis Hillel nicks. Ushmona asur dvarim gazu b'bayom, and on that day they decreed 18 things. Okay, and that is going to be the focus of the, I don't know, I guess at least probably till the next Mishnah. It might even be till the end of the parak, I'm not sure. Okay, no, it's not till the end of the parak. Okay, fine, let's go weiter. So Amalei Abai of Yosef. So Abai said to Rav Yosef, Eilu tnan o ve'elu tnan. So when the Mishnah says, right, ve'elu min ha'alachis she'amu ba'aliyas Chananya ben Chizkiah ben Garon, Abai wants to know, is it really ve'elu or maybe it's elu? What's the nafkamina? Ve'elu tan, if it's ve'elu, so then hani da'amaron. Then it means the things that we just said up until now. Okay? And we'll explain this in a second. O elu tnan, diba'inon lemeimar kamon. Or maybe it's elu min ha'alachos she'amu ba'aliyas Chananya ben Chizkiah, which means, the following Mishnah, the Mishnah that's coming up, it would be the things that we're about to say are the things that they said in the loft of Chananya ben Chizkiah ben Garon. Tashma kamanir ein polin le'oraner. We don't delouse clothing to the light of a candle. Vein korin le'oraner, and we also don't read to the light of a candle on Shabbos. Ve'elu min ha'alachos she'amu ba'aliyas Chananya ben Chizkiah ben Garon shmamina ve'elu tanan shmamina. And those things, those two things, the delousing and the reading by the candle, are among the things that they said in the loft of Chananya ben Chizkiah ben Garon. So we see that it is ve'elu, it's referring to the previous things, not elu, which would be referring to the coming up things. Tana Rabbanan, the rabbis taught, Mikas of Megillas Tainus. Who wrote Megillas Tainus? First of all, who could tell me what Megillas Tainus is? Megillas Tainus is this scroll that they had, and what does Rashi say? Rashi says, Lefisha, in the Dibur Maschal Megillas Tainus, Lefisha sha'ar kol mishnah uvrais lo hayu ksuvin da'asur l'chotvam. Meaning, as opposed to the other Mishnayos and Brises that they wouldn't write down because it was Tosh Bal Peh, this they dafka wrote down in a scroll. These were just sort of a list of all the days that miracles happened, that you're not allowed to fast on those days. That's what Megillas Tainus is. It's really a list of the days that you don't fast on because they're Yom Tovim. So Tana Rabbanan mean Mikas of Megillas Tainus. Who wrote this Megillas Tainus? So Amar Chananya ben Chizkiah. So Amru, they said Chananya ben Chizkiah of Siyaso. it was Hananiah ben Chizkiah and his friends who wrote Megillas Taanis, because they loved the tsaris. What does it mean that they loved the challenging times? It means that they were so overtaken by, the times when we were in a difficult situation, and the Eibishter helped us out, and they would keep a list of all those miracles, and that was Megillas Taanis, and you weren't allowed to fast on those days. Amr B'Shimon ben Gamliel, says Rabbi Shimon ben Gamliel, Af anu mechabev es hatzaros. We are also mechabev tzaros. We also love, it's very beloved to us, all of these days where God has done miracles for us. Aval ma na'aseh she'im banu lichtov ein anu maspikin. But what can we do? Because if we would come to write down all of the miracles that God does for us, it would just be a never-ending list. There would be way too many of them. Davar acher, or another way of saying it, ein shota nifga. A fool never gets never gets hurt. A fool never gets hurt because he doesn't even realize that he's even getting hurt. Right? What does Rashi say? In pega rabba olav. Nothing bad ever happens to a fool. Klomer einu makir b'fugav. Right? Kach kama nisim ba'im lanu ve'enanu makirin ba'en. Right? A fool doesn't even realize when something bad happens to him because he's oblivious to everything. So also us, we don't even realize how many miracles are happening to us all the time. And that's why Rabbi Shimon Gamliel says that they can't write them down, because there's just miracles happening all the time we don't even realize. Davar acher, or another way of saying it, that the flesh of a corpse does not feel the scalpel, right? Meaning the corpse is so dead and so removed from this world that it doesn't feel any pain or anything. So us also, we're so far removed I guess from what's really going on in the world that we don't even notice all the miracles that are happening. Ini, is this really true that a corpse does not feel a scalpel? Who can remember brachas on Yud Ches Amud Beis when the two sons of, I can't remember whose children it was, but they went and there was all discussion about do Mesim do dead people know what's going on? And we said, V'amar Rav Yitzchak, and Rav Yitzchak said over there, Kasharima l'meis k'machad b'b'sar chai, that a maggot, when it eats through when it eats a mace, it's as difficult for the corpse as a needle in a live human being. So why are we saying that a corpse doesn't feel a scalpel? Of course it does. Shneimar, as the pasuk says, Ach b'sar olav yichav, that when a person's flesh is upon him, i.e. when he's alive, he feels pain. V'nafshu alav, when his soul is in him, te'eval, that's when he could feel, remorse and mourning. So don't say that a corpse doesn't feel the scalpel. It would feel the scalpel. Say that if you have, dead skin, maybe like scar tissue or something like that, that would not feel some kind of slicing. Amar Vidu Amarav, says Rav Yehuda in the name of Rav. Bram Zechor Oso Aish Latov V'Chananya ben Chizkiah Shmo. Remember that person for the good, and his name is Hananiah ben Chizkiah. She'il Malehu Nignaz Sefer Yechezkel. If not for the great actions of Hananiah ben Chizkiah, they would have hidden the book of Yechezkel. Sefer Yechezkel, part of the Nevi'im Acharonim. They would have hidden the entire Sefer Yechezkel if not for the work of Hananiah ben Chizkiah ben Garon. I wonder what other books there were that they hid away that we don't have. Did all of them make it through? Even if it was by a hair's breadth? And because there were things in Sefer Yechezkel that that contradicted the words of Torah. And Rashi gives some examples. Could go Nevela Utrefa Lo Yochla Kohanim HaYisraelim Ochlim. Right, it says somewhere in Yechezkel that the Kohanim shouldn't eat Nevela and Treifa, which implies that maybe Yisraelim can. Whatever, there were a few psukim there in Yechezkel that seemed counter to what the Torah prescribed. So what did Hananiah ben Chizkiah ben Garon do? They brought up to him 300 barrels of oil that served both for candlelight as well as for, I believe, for consumption as well. And he just locked himself up in his attic, and he went to work resolving those contradictions. And he salvaged Sefer Yechezkel. Cool. I don't know why necessarily needed 300 barrels of oil in order to solve a few psukim, but it's interesting nonetheless. Okay, we're going to stop here. Cool. Yeah, today there was some interesting stuff about husband and wife sleeping together in the same bed when she's in Nida. Then there was that, the Tara of the Bnei Yisrael that they always, of the Yidden that they always eat Chulim b'Tara. That's also cool. And yeah, cool page. I'll see y'all tomorrow, friends. Peace.